Good evening, students. Today our topic is nutrition in paramoecium. Yesterday we have done about the nutrition in amoeba. Now today we will do nutrition in paramoecium. Just look at the important point you have to focus in nutrition in amoeba. First, it is an unicellular organism. It is an eukaryotic and it is also a protist. Like euglena, euglena is also unicellular and paramoecium is also unicellular. Euglena is also eukaryotic protist and paramoecium is also eukaryotic protist. Okay. As you know, amoeba do not have the definite shape, but paramoecium has a definite shape of the body. Yesterday only I told you. Now that word is very important. Phagocytosis word. While you are learning the nutrition in paramoecium, that phagocytosis word is very important. As you know, when a single cell or unicellular organism, when they will engulf any solid food substances into the body, that process of engulfing of solid food substances or complex food substances inside of the body, that process is known as phagocytosis. Here the paramoecium also engulf the solid food substances, whatever it will be found nearby of their environment in the aquatic environment, they will engulf that solid substances by the process of phagocytosis. Now, this is a new word to you, that is oral groups, or that you can call it as cytopharynx also. It is a biological term. Actually, while you are intaking our food, that time we are intaking that food from our mouth. But in the paramoecium, as they are unicellular organism, they don't have the particular digestive system or digestive organ. Okay, but even though they have some special structure in their body which acts as a mouth in them, that actually mouth like structure is known as oral groups or cytopharynx. Is that clear? Now I am showing you that oral groups or cytopharynx here in the structure of amoeba. Just now one thing, as I told, a paramoecium has a definite shape. This is the structure of a paramoecium. If you see paramoecium under the microscope, then you will see this kind of structure of the paramoecium will be there. Then it is exactly looking like a slipper. Its shape is like a slipper only. Okay. Now here I have drawn one channel-like or tube-like structure. That particular part, which is looking like a tube, that tube-like structure is known as cytopharynx, or it is also known as the oral group, and it acts as a mouth in paramoecium. Now here I have drawn another thing, that is also a pore, and that pore is known as cytopipe, or you can say it is anal pore, and it helps to egestion process. It helps in the process of egestion. That means waste product will be eliminated from the body with the help of cytopipe. Like in amoeba, there is no any definite place for the entry and exit of the food particles. Yesterday we have seen, but paramoecium, they have a definite place for the entry of food also and for the exit of food also. They will intake the food with the help of cytopharynx, and they will remove their waste product in the form from the cytopipe. Now, as you are looking at the whole body of the paramoecium is nicely covered with a hair-like projection. That hair-like projection is known as cilia. The whole body of paramoecium is covered by the cilia, that is actually hair-like projection. All you are seeing here. That cilia has two important functions. First, the cilia is the locomotor organ of the paramoecium, and at the same time, that cilia will do the flap. When any food particles will come nearby of the paramoecium body, okay, that cilia start to flap, or it will show a wave in a same direction. As the cilia will move in the same direction or in one direction only, all the food particles from the surrounding, it will comes in a same way, in the same direction, and it will enter into the cytopharynx. This is the cytopharynx. Now with the help of cytopharynx, that food will be get entered into the body of paramoecium. When the food will get entered into the paramoecium, that time you can say ingestion has been done by paramoecium. That now looks here, paramoecium is engulfing, or it is eating the solid food substances, okay, into the body, and that process is known as phagocytosis. Now second, when the food particles will enter into the body of paramoecium, that time one temporary stomach it will get formed, that is known as actually your food vacuole. Now that food vacuole will rotate in the body of paramoecium in that way. That means it will complete a cycle inside of the paramoecium body. That food vacuole is moving, and inside of the food vacuole, what is there? Food particle, complex food particles are here, and that food particles inside of the food vacuoles, it is started to rotate in a particular path, or it will move in a cyclic way. That process of movement of food vacuole inside of the paramoecium, it is known as cyclosis. That process is known as cyclosis. Is that clear? Next, when the food particles will enter into the food vacuoles, that time the digestive enzyme from the cytoplasm part, that will now started to enter here in the food vacuole. Now as soon as the food particles, food vacuoles will started to rotate inside of the body or inside in the cytoplasm of the paramoecium, the food complex will get broken into smaller and smaller pieces. Finally, the digestion will get completed in the food vacuole. That is the second step. Now, when food will become totally digested inside of the food vacuole, that food has to come out from the food vacuole. Your food vacuole will get degenerated, and the food particles will now comes out from the food vacuole, and it will mix with the cytoplasm. Look, that is now food vacuoles are entering into the cytoplasm, and they will mix it here in the cytoplasm. That means it will become a part of the cytoplasm. That process is known as absorption. When food particles from the food vacuoles entered into the cytoplasm, that process is known as absorption. Now the next step, when the food particles will be there in the cytoplasm, that food particles are utilized by the paramoecium in the process of respiration. They will gain the energy after doing respiration, and by that energy they again grow in the size. That means by utilization of the energy, when the paramoecium will grow in the size, that process is known as assimilation. Okay, and finally the food particles which are not get digested, that food particles will now comes out through that pore, which is also known as the anal pore, or that is also known as the cytophyte. That means here little difference is there from the amoeba. If you compare the nutrition in amoeba and nutrition in paramoecium, you are getting little difference. Amoeba do not have a definite shape, but paramoecium has a definite shape like the sleeper. Second, paramoecium do not have any exact place for the entry and exit of the food particle, but paramoecium has one definite place which is known as cytopharynx for intake of the food, and for the exit of the food, paramoecium is a definite place that is known as anal pore or cytophyte. These are the 5 stages of nutrition found in paramoecium. I think all of you are very clear now about the nutrition in paramoecium. Thank you.